and welcome to a big day for our Head Start class. We've been working towards this day for a long time. I'm not going to do any talking because the day belongs to the students. We have half of our students here, and our senior students, our Year 12 students, have gone off to full-time work already. So these students will explain the project, and we've got some pre-recorded vision from the other students who can't be with us. So please enjoy.
Welcome and thank you everyone for making time to come to our fountain rededication. We're the intermediate students from Head Start. I'm Oscar Keogh, first year diesel mechanic at Costerfield Gold Mine. I'd like to acknowledge that we are meeting on Jara country, which the members and elders of the Dja Dja Wurrung people and their forebears have been custodians for many centuries and have performed age-old ceremonies of celebration. We acknowledge their living culture and unique role in our life of this region. I would now like to invite representatives of our EAL community to welcome you in their traditional languages. Following their welcome, Jonathan Short, one of our senior students, will provide an introduction to the fountain project.
Hello. Minglava.
Osulasa. Konnichiwa.
สวัสดีค่ะ
Ni hao.
Hola.
Slama.
Yeah, Wagwan. Ojogle.
My name is Jonathan Short. I'm one of the senior students, a part of the Bendigo Senior Secondary College Head Start program. The Head Start program is a class made up of students who are working part-time doing an apprenticeship or traineeship. With a wide range of trades and professions being undertaken, these skills helped us all collaboratively work together to complete the refurbishment of the fountain.
G'day, I'm Nick and I'm a Year 11 student undergoing my first year in roof plumbing. When thinking about cultural understanding in our community, we have worked around 3 pillars of cultural inclusion to help us understand and recognise the various cultures in our community. These pillars are access, attitude and communication. Access explores the importance of a welcoming environment and the habits that create it, like the Garden of Harmony. Attitude looks at how willing people are to embrace inclusion and diversity and to take meaningful action, like us trying to get to know students from different cultural backgrounds so they know they are welcome in our college. And lastly, communication examines the way we let people know about how the options to get involved and about the culture. And then Drew Costa will now let you know how we tried to communicate our message of cultural understanding and harmony to the broader college community.
Hello, my name is Andrew and I am also a senior student in the Bendigo Senior Secondary College Head Start program. The intended users of the fountain in the Garden of Harmony area around it are the Bendigo Senior Secondary College students and staff. Our main ways of encouraging members of the college community to use the space for study and relaxation while contemplating issues relating to cultural understanding and harmony has been through Facebook posts with the help of the communications team, John and Paul, invitations to the opening of the garden along with this presentation. We hope our message of cultural inclusion reinforced to us by Claire will continue to inspire students for the next 20 years and beyond.
My name is Mila Stevenson. I'm doing a traineeship in early childhood education and care at Brady Bunch Early Learning Centre, Bendigo. The Garden of Harmony and our fountain has a lot of history. We've spent hours and hours trying to research information on the history and the background behind the Garden of Harmony. With the help of Bev Miller, we were able to find out some pretty amazing information about where this all began, which led us to make contact with the inspiring Claire Ormerod. Kayla is a Year 12 student from our class. She has pre-recorded a video explaining more about the history we uncovered.
In the early stages of our project planning, the class actually invited Bev Miller, a long-term member of the college community, to speak to the class about the history surrounding the discussed fountain we had discovered. With the help of the history and information that was provided in the Old Gold magazine, students were able to grasp the concept of how it came together and what the purpose of the fountain actually was. Students took this information into consideration when revamping the fountain and also found the information useful when creating our plaque in recognition of the fountain. Who would have thought our idea of renovating the fountain would also result in us learning so much about students who would come before us today?
As part of our personal development class, one of the skills we learned about was problem solving. A big issue we faced was finishing off the water outlets. One of the original fountain toppers were ceramic balls. We tried lots of different avenues to source new ones, but we couldn't find them anywhere. So we had a look at our alternative to the ceramic balls, and it was a suggestion to make metal art for the top of the spouts. Jay worked on a possible design for these. It was thanks to Mick from maintenance and Daryl from metals at BSSE that a new topper was finally a reality. The design features a flower with petals. We think this is a great alternative for the top of the fountain that will complete the rest of the Garden of Harmony. Now I'd like to introduce Caleb Johnson, one of our senior mentors, who will talk about another great challenge we faced, COVID-19.
Hi everyone, my name's Caleb Johnson and I was a part of the 2021 Head Start program. This year we've faced many different challenges, from students leaving and entering the program at different times to our biggest challenge, the global pandemic. COVID-19 has been challenging this year with a constant loop of moving from face-to-face learning to remote learning. It also, however, supported our mission by helping us to understand our part in the global community. COVID-19 could have derailed our project, but despite the problems we were facing in the world, we persevered to complete the refurbishment of the fountain, production of the plaque, as well as understanding the importance of this to our goal of cultural understanding. Pivoting, a buzzword of 2021, has meant our video recordings for this important event rather than our in-person attendance. Despite this, we hope you enjoyed the function as we had planned. Thank you.
Unfortunately, Brayden couldn't be here, but I'd like to introduce Corey Green to discuss project management.
Hi, my name is Corey and I'm a student of the Head Start program for 2021. During the restoration of the fountain, my role was to clean, paint and fix the pump. When I was cleaning the fountain, I got to use a pressure washer and it certainly removed a lot of gunk from the bottom of the reservoir. Another role I had was to repaint the fountain. I found it quite enjoyable to use a paintbrush. I also had to fix the pump with Mick from maintenance. He was a great help. Mick and I eventually got the pump to work after we unblocked the pipes. So after all the hard work from the whole class, we finally got the fountain fully restored and operational.
Hi, my name is Jay and I'm a first year apprenticeship doing metal fabrication for Steelwork Bendigo, and I'll be discussing the EAL morning tea function. The 2021 Head Start class hosted a morning tea get-together in the Garden of Harmony. We invited the EAL class taught by Kath Holton to allow them to be the first to see the rebuilt fountain. We all introduced ourselves and got to know each other. They told us what it was like in their countries. Some of them were from South Sudan and from Thailand, and some from places I've never even heard of. We then presented the fountain our class has been working on for the past 2 terms and told them some of the interesting things we learned along the way. The area where the fountain is placed is called the Garden of Harmony and was created by Claire Ormerod. Her idea of the garden was to create a place where everyone from all cultures could come and relax in harmony. There was also a plaque next to the fountain dedicated to her boy, who had sadly passed away. We decided to add our own plaque with some information about the Garden of Harmony and a few pictures. After we had discussed the fountain, the EAL students taught our class how to play a few games from their cultures. The one I played was called cane ball. It's like volleyball, but instead of using your hands, you use pretty much anything other than your hands. Overall, it was a very good morning, and we really enjoyed it, and we hope we can do it again in the future. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Charlie Brash. I'm a Year 11 student at BSSE in the Head Start program. I work part-time at McKern Steel as a structural engineer. Our idea for the fountain was to keep it as original as possible, but give it a new life for students in the future to enjoy, to continue the effect of the work that Claire and Sandra did. The vision for the Garden of Harmony has continued to ripple for 20 years. We hope that our work has the same effects that theirs did. Now I'd like to introduce Blake Walker, one of our Year 12 students and leaders for the Fountain Project, to talk a little bit more about the vision behind the fountain.
Hello, my name is Blake, another student a part of the Fountain Project. I hope for the legacy of the Head Start class of 2021 is that the water in the fountain will always reflect the harmony and cultural acceptance in our college and the wider community. We will take this vision with us into our daily lives to inspire others the way that Claire and Sandra from the class of 2000, 20 years ago, have inspired us.
Hello, my name is Claire Ormerod, and I was a student at Bendigo Senior Secondary College back in 1999 to 2000. In my last year at BSSC, a friend and I initiated the Garden of Harmony project, hoping to beautify a disused area of the school grounds and create a place for students to use for reflection and contemplation. I remember the ideology behind the garden project being just as important to us as the physical design. At the time we started working on the garden, we were watching things in the news that made us want to do something to encourage understanding between cultures to promote peace and harmony. In particular, Timor-Leste had voted for independence from Indonesia and was in crisis, and while the UN sent in hundreds of peacekeeping forces, I recall reflecting on the contradiction within that term, and so we used a famous quote from Albert Einstein as the tagline: "Peace cannot be kept by force, it can only be achieved by understanding." 20 years later, that quote and the themes it inspires seem just as relevant and important, and I hope provide just as much optimism as it did for us back then, that a thriving multicultural society is possible if we can try and understand one another a little better. Working on the garden all those years ago was a big part of my Year 12 experience, and the lessons I learnt have carried through to today. These were things like believing in yourself and your vision, working hard to overcome challenges and find solutions, that energy, passion and drive can often encourage others to support you, and how generously the school and local community was willing to provide resources, guidance and wisdom when we needed it. It's wonderful to see new life being breathed into the garden for the next generation of students to enjoy. And it's been so lovely to get involved again in a very small way and see the enthusiasm and hard work of the Head Start students and teachers to reinvigorate the space despite all the setbacks that COVID has brought. I'll leave it here for now, but I do look forward to visiting the Garden of Harmony on my next trip home to Bendigo to enjoy a bit of reflection and contemplation. My very, very best wishes to all of you, and thank you so much.
Thanks everyone for your attention, and before we have morning tea, I'll invite you to join us in the Garden of Harmony for Dale to rededicate the fountain to its original vision.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here today. I have to say that as I've walked through this area and by it over the years, one thing that I've done is looked at that fountain and never really understood the history of it. So thank you for telling me and for telling others a little bit about the original project. What I really love about this and about what we've seen this morning is that it connects together so many things for me. Not only the work of our Head Start students, those of you who are here and those who recorded messages for us today, and all the work that you had to do, the research, the tracking down, the problem solving along the way, those are fantastic skills for you to learn that you'll be able to apply in your lives and in your work and your workplaces. But the other elements are equally important, I think. The connection through to the many cultures of our college. And it's a wonderful connection that you've made, I think, and thank you for articulating that. I know that our students right across the college, we have students who come from so many different cultures, and for those students to know that this is a place that's dedicated for reflection and for people to come and relax and think about that cultural connection, I think is really a wonderful thing. But the other two things that this project does for me is that, one, it's a connection into the environment. Like, what a beautiful spot this is, and thank you to everybody who's done the work, not just on the fountain and the plaque that sits here, but on this entire area, back through this area here, and we really now have a very attractive and a really enjoyable place that I hope students do come to and sit to think and reflect on all of those things. But it's also a connection back to the history of our college, which the longer you're here, you'll know how important that is to us. It's important to know where you've come from. It's important to know what's been before you. And one thing that this project has done is allowed you to build those links and to build that understanding. So I want to thank you for creating something that I'm sure students over many, many years are going to be able to enjoy here at the college. And when they do, I hope that they think back and reflect upon the work that you did as a team. This obviously still holds strong memories for Claire, 20 years on. I don't know what you're going to think in 20 years' time, but you should look back, however long it is, over the coming years and into the future with a great deal of pride for what you've done for students in this school and for the staff of this school, because everybody will be able to walk by here, sit and enjoy it, and hopefully they can reflect upon the efforts that you made and the contribution you made. So it's my great pleasure to be able to announce the rededication of this area, and thank you again for all of your work. And I think we're going to switch the fountain on.